Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. This session, as you can tell by this fancy slide that I made, is called Financial Management Keys to Unlock Your Business Potential. I even had a guy go and find me that cool little padlock, and he made it all fuzzy looking and cool, so I'm very pleased with it. This is a session that is a little bit of a snapshot from the Pocket MBA. Raise your hand if you haven't heard about the Pocket MBA program that Harry has out there. All right, not many hands. You need to look it up. It's an awesome program. It's a series that goes for 12 weeks at a time, I believe. We got a couple people who've joined up for it. And it's just to get some good business knowledge to help you run your business. So I'm real pleased with this presentation. It's going to be a little bit of just kind of a snapshot of what you'd get in one of the courses in the Pocket MBA. All right, a little bit about myself. My name is Josh Peterson. I've been consulting in this industry as a management consultant for about 10 years. I love this industry. I like you guys too, not much, but I do like you guys a little bit. Mostly because you guys are such gluttons for punishment. This is the worst business to run in the world. Low margins, low barriers to entry. Anybody who decides to be an IT consultant can start tomorrow. But somehow you guys have made it far enough along that you can be sitting in this room today. So I'm impressed with that. It's a hard business, and with the changes, very impressed. So I've been at it for about 10 years. Used to work with a company called Taylor Business Group. It's a great management consulting firm. I started a company called MSP Score, and what we do is we do management consulting, but we also focus on something called Net Promoter Score, finding out what your clients really think about you. So we do a survey of your clients to find out how they would refer you to their friends and colleagues. So I like the service. It's doing very well, but my core business is in what we describe down here, providing training for your businesses on these topics. Accounting, service delivery, sales, sales management. Had somebody come in today say that they hired their first salesperson after how many years in business? 12 years, first salesperson. Let me take an informal poll. Raise your hand if you have a salesperson. Raise your hand if you have 2 salespeople. 3? Great. I'm glad to see that. That's what we need more of. That's what really makes these businesses go, is getting that external sales force going out there for you. All right, so that's enough about me. Let's jump in. Now, I'm pretty opinionated on stuff, and you can tell me I'm full of whatever you want to tell me I'm full of. That's okay. We can argue. We can debate. I like getting your opinions, but I'm going to start with mine, and we'll see where we go from there. All right, I'm going to go through 8 key metrics of your business. Okay, and I've broken them down into service, sales, and admin. And we're going to just work our way through each one of them. Hopefully you'll have some questions. If you don't, that's fine too. The first one is service department gross profitability. I need that to be at 55%. Please raise your hand if you are currently measuring this metric. That is not enough hands. What are you doing if you're not measuring your service department's gross profitability? Tell me that you know what your service salary expense is relative to your service revenue. Raise your hand if you know that number. Again, guys, not enough hands. These are basic. If you're running your business without those 2 numbers right there, you're running blind. The good news is that once you pay attention to it, you can control it. So you got a great opportunity in your hands. Okay? 1/3 of service revenue is the maximum that we're going to pay to our engineers for salary and bonuses. And please tell me you have a bonus program in place for your engineers. Raise your hand if you do have a bonus program. Somebody tell me what their bonus program is based off of.
Performance metrics. They automatically get a certain amount of bonus or performance per month if they meet a certain percentage of performance metrics. If not, then it whittles down.
That's way too vague. Tell me exactly what they need to perform at to get a bonus.
Their reaction time to the tickets, their proactive performance for working on customer networks, and not having any type of complaints or anything.
No complaints, response time, and what was the other one?
Proactive service.
And being proactive. All right. We're going to come back to that a little bit. Tell me if you guys have a dispatcher. Do you have a service dispatcher? All right. we need to talk about service dispatchers at some point, because all of those things you mentioned are crucially important, but I don't want those anywhere near the engineer's hands, okay? I want a dispatcher directing the activities of those guys. Tell me another way that you're bonusing service techs. Yes, sir.
We do what's called red light, green light. So we have our RMN has a dashboard that shows red or green, and if all of the lights are green for that month,
Yeah.
then that technician gets a bonus.
Everyone knows exactly what red light, green light means, right? I don't either. What does it mean? What makes it red? What makes it green?
What makes it red depends on which category you're looking at.
Give me one.
There's a patches missing, or there's a security issue, or there's a hard drive issue, or, as long as they've been taken care of proactively, then, immediately, then that technician gets a bonus for that month.
Cool. I like it. Somebody give me one more. I'm looking for one. I can't believe I haven't heard it. I don't really care about it, but I'm surprised we haven't heard it yet. Who said it? Nice. What's the benchmark for you guys?
We put a threshold, if you go above that number, usually it's about 150.
115? 115?
No, 150.
150. There's 160 work hours in a month and you get 150?
72 approximately
Yeah. And you're getting 150.
150 on that, they get an equity bonus.
Nice.
We do the bonus twice a year, half yearly.
Okay, so you measure it twice a year and then we pay on it. Excellent. Service utilization, billable hours. Yes, sir.
Every month we give our techs a bonus. They have to close 160 tickets and record 160 hours of productive time.
What does productive mean? Billable?
It doesn't all have to be billable.
Okay.
We're flat rate.
Oh, okay.
So not everything that they're doing is directly billable.
Right.
There's knock work, there's ticket work.
So put against an agreement.
But they have to show that they're productive 160 hours out of the month, and they have to close at least 160 hours, and they get a $200 bonus every month that they do it.
Beautiful. Give me yours, man.
We have a two-tiered SLA system. We have
Not the two-tiered SLA system. Holy crap. Give it to us.
We have an SLA that we freak out and everybody gets beat up if they
Yeah.
meet. And then we have an SLA that if we meet that, then we start bonusing people.
I love it. What's the biggest bonus a guy can get?
Biggest bonus?
Yeah.
5,000 a quarter.
Damn, that's a lot of money. What are you giving your guys for those billable utilizations? You can't hear anything up here. He's talking about an SLA system that motivates the guys to respond in an appropriate amount of time, and the biggest amount that a guy can get is about $5,000. All right?
5 to 10% of the salary.
5 to 10% of the salary? Okay, beautiful.
So it's depending on the hours and the company. So you have the qualification that if you did the hours, and then based on the company performance, then it goes up.
All right, beautiful. Okay, we had a few people raise their hand that they had a bonus system. We had very few people raise their hand that they're measuring service department gross profitability. We had very few people raise their hand that they're tracking their service salary expenses towards service revenue. Okay, you just heard randomly 5, 6 people talk about a bonus program that they have. If you're not doing those 3 things, be like the 5 people who are doing it and do it Monday, please, I beg you. If you're not, you're screwing up and you're being a lazy owner. I still like you, but you're lazy, okay? This is on your P&L. It's there. Pay attention to it. To not do so is irresponsible, okay? What is service revenue? Recurring revenue, hardware as a service revenue, billable time revenue, project revenue. The thing that it is not is product revenue, product sales. Okay, we're going to break that out separately. Some of these, yes, sir.
Are you saying this is just a baseline, or are you saying it shouldn't exceed this too?
I want the 55% service department gross profitability to be the minimum. Okay, minimum gross profit on that department is 55%. The maximum of your service salaries to service revenue is 33%. Yes, sir.
Service salary, are you just flat salary, or are you including service cost of that?
I'm gonna put the unloaded cost in there, okay? But you can do it both ways. Once you really start ramping up, if you want to hold yourself to a little higher metric, go ahead and put that in there. The other question you're going to think about later is, oh man, I got a service manager and a dispatcher. Do those go in there as well? Yeah. All right, hold yourself to a high standard. Once you really start clicking with this, you're going to want to account for all your service costs in there. All right, and here's a couple of the other costs. Don't put your whole PSA tool against the service department, okay? Raise your hand if you're using Autotask. Raise your hand if you're using ConnectWise. Tiger Paw? All right, good. So don't put your whole PSA tool in there. Put a third of it. Put a third towards your sales department, a third towards your admin, and a third towards your service department, okay? Okay, that's key number 8. Service department gross profitability. Let's go to the next one. Agreement gross profitability. Do we have any representatives from Autotask in this room right now? Raise your hand if you're an Autotask user again, please. Your first call Monday, and this is where I cuss, and I'm going to try to keep my blood pressure under control here. Your first call Monday is to Autotask and say, please, show me how to get the agreement gross profitability report out of your software. Please show me. Don't tell me I can do it. Don't tell me how to do it. Show me. Okay? Because Autotask is being very irresponsible with their software by not having that ready for you to click so you can know your agreement gross profitability. Okay? Raise your hand if you know your managed services agreement gross profitability number. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Somebody give me another number. Yes, sir. 57. I love it. Somebody else. 68. I love it. Yes, sir. Warren. How are you? 65. I love this. These are great numbers. Now, the only people that raise their hand are the people that are killing it. Somebody raise their hand that tells me they know their number and they're not killing it. Come on, somebody knows it. No one's going to cop to it? Because I know that that's not the reality for every one of you. Okay, the first thing you need to do is get the number, then we can improve the number. Okay? But when I look in your books, it ain't no 55 and 60. It's 40, it's 30, and more often than not, I don't know. Okay? Demand that your PSA provides this report for you and that it is accurate. If you're a ConnectWise user, demand that it's accurate. Okay? Oftentimes it is not. There are some tricks to making it work. My very best service managers, my Ronnies, my Bryans of the world, these guys live and die by that report. Raise your hand if you have never done this calculation. Don't be afraid. Okay? I swear to God you just paid for your cost of admission for being here if you will do this report. Okay? I don't want to be ambiguous about it. Your PSAs owe you this. Demand it. But it's not an excuse if you can't get it from them. You need to make the spreadsheet. Okay? You need to figure it out. How much revenue do I have? What's the cost of my labor that I put into that agreement, plus my licensing cost, and divide that by my agreement revenue. Do this at least once a month, and if you want to be hardcore, do it weekly. How much time are we putting into these agreements? What's my budget? If I've got a $1,000 agreement, I have $400 that I can put towards that agreement. If I got $50 worth of licenses, I've got $350 I can put towards that agreement. If my loaded rate for an engineer is $35 an hour, I've got 10 hours, that's it. But I bet if we go and look, we're going to see that we're putting 12 hours, 15 hours consistently. Yes, sir?
I'm just curious, on agreements that are flat priced.
Yeah.
What should I be doing with miscellaneous time that my tech spend against that account? A 10-minute phone call, 15-minute phone call. Typically, they say, hey, it takes more time to record it.
That's bullshit, okay? Absolute bullshit. Don't even buy that from them. Excuse me for cussing. I'm going to cuss, and I apologize. If you want me to pay you $1 every time I cuss, that's fine. I don't care. But that's bullshit, okay? His question was, what do I do with those miscellaneous time incidents that I spend on those agreements? 10 minutes, 15 minutes. My tech says it takes more time to enter the time than the actual time I did working. Thank you. Carl Palachuk says fire him. Okay? They're absolutely right. It does take time. But the reality is we got to know how much time we're putting into them. I know you do. You know, but you might be fighting the right battle. And we can talk a little more about how to get a culture of enter your time. Okay? But I could talk all day about that. Very best service managers live and die by this report. They look at it weekly. Okay, I've got one company in New York City that looks at it every single day. and they marry it up with this very killer thing called effective hourly rate. Somebody raise their hand and tell me, give me an example, 1 sentence, 2 sentences max of what effective hourly rate is. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Why does it matter? Right, I heard a groan. Why does it matter? If I tell you that I will paint your fence for $10 and it takes me 1 hour to do it, how much am I making per hour? If it takes me a half hour, how much am I making? Okay? You need to know that for your agreement so you can know how much extra work you can be doing if you can do it quicker or more efficiently. Okay? Then we get into a deep conversation about opportunity cost. If I can do the same work in half the time, that means I can do twice the amount of work in a day, which means more billable opportunity. There's 3 ways, there's more than 3 ways. Here's the 3 ways that I would recommend you to do it, but you can slice this thing any way you want. Total service revenue divided by total service payroll hours. Effective hourly rate on total hours compensated. When I gather up all my service revenue and divide by all the hours that I pay, what does it come up to? Ladies and gentlemen, it better be greater than your rack rate, the rate that you will tell somebody how much it costs to fix something per hour, whether it's $125 or $150 an hour. You need to be damn close to that. If you want to be a little scared, you can do it this way. Total service revenue divided by total billable hours. That's the I'm scared of the real number effective hourly rate. Okay? Do them both ways and see where you're going. Yes, sir? Exactly. Okay? That's why it's the I'm scared version. Okay? But we'll let you start with that if it makes you feel any better. Okay? I need these numbers to be coming in right around your rack rate or greater. This number is the most important right here. Total recurring revenue divided by total service hours against the agreement. Agreement effective hourly rate. Raise your hand if you've ever done that number. That is a shame. That is a shame. I could rant on about Enable, Kaseya, all the rest of those bullshitters, okay? You have been sold a bill of goods on this managed services myth. I love recurring revenue. I love managed services. Don't try to twist my words. I love every bit of it, okay? But you have not been taught the right things about it. If no one, when they sold you that beautiful RMM tool, taught you about effective hourly rate on agreements, they did a disservice to you because the same people that taught you about it are also the same people that wanted to sell you $25,000 in licenses. Okay? Oh, and we got a training academy too. We're going to show you how to do all this stuff. Well, they didn't show you this, did they? Okay? Do this number, please, and email me and tell me what it is. Yes?
One of the issues we're having, or I think we're having, is that it's too high.
What's too high?
Our effective rate.
Oh my God. What a great problem to have.
Right, but
yeah.
Have you actually seen where people are too high and they're not delivering good enough?
That's a great point. That's a really great point. When we look at effective hourly rate and compare it to our agreement gross profitability, there's a very fine line balance of are we ignoring our clients, not putting enough hours in, and getting really high effective hourly rates. Does everyone understand that? My effective hourly rate is going to be really high if I never do anything for my client. Okay, so we got to walk the balance. And frankly, I'm not going to do a commercial, but that's where MSP score comes in with the Net Promoter Score. If your Net Promoter Score is high and your clients are happy and they will refer you, then you're doing something right. But we need to have a balance, and I've got a little triangle of how to balance out all of these things to make sure that you're giving good service. Okay? Effective hourly rate. I need it to be double. Double your rack rate. If you're $150 an hour, I need it to be $300. Okay? Now that's a tough balance with getting the right agreement gross profitability. The only way you're going to get high agreement gross profitability and a high effective hourly rate on agreements is by pricing aggressively and automating. We have in our presence today Mr. Carl Palachuk, who is the master of this. He knows how to build an agreement, he knows how to price it, and he knows how to service it. Okay? If we ran his numbers, we would see great AGP and great effective hourly rate. Okay, what other kind of crap do I put up here? You're selling your agreements too low, you're not putting enough time into your agreements, you're putting too much time into your agreements, you're not remediating problems before turning the client up. Okay, this is the #1 killer. Raise your hand if you believe the following statement is true. The first 3 months of an agreement or a managed service contract aren't profitable. Please raise your hand if you believe it's true. Oh man, you guys are scared. You believe it's true. All right? I want those things to be profitable from day one. Okay? They have to be. That's the only way we keep a good client relationship, is if we set the expectation that before you can come on my program, I need to remediate the issues. Don't chase that crappy little $900 contract just so you can start billing $900 a month and then start dumping and burying time into it and being confused why when you came back Monday morning you looked at your AGP and it's 20%. Remediate the problems before you start and you're going to have great numbers here. Okay? I want you to be a managed service provider. I want you to have recurring revenue. I want you to enjoy all the benefits of having $100,000 a month in recurring revenue. But I want you to do it smartly. Okay? This is how to do it smartly. Know these numbers inside and out. Challenge yourself to look at them at least monthly, weekly if you can find the time, and if your PSA will play nicely. What questions do you have so far? Anybody? All right. We're going to get off of service and we're going to get on to sales, and we're going to only spend a minute on sales. Raise your hand again if you have salespeople. All right. Tell me about this dime on a dollar. I didn't make that up. All right, that's been around forever. It just works really well in our industry as well. 10% of company revenue goes towards your sales budget. Somebody tell me what they're spending on their sales budget. If you raise your hand, you better know the answer. Raise your hand again if you have salespeople. What's your budget for sales folks? No problem. Sir? 8? All right. Give me another one. Who else raised your hand? Raise your hand if you have salespeople. Matt Makowitz. 20%. Sir? 10? Yes, sir? Against gross profit. That's interesting. I wonder what it would be against revenue. We'd have to do some math. Okay. Yes, sir?
I just have a question. I've heard this metric to be 20 if you're in growth mode. Is that?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Here's the fact, all right? I don't give a shit about my numbers. I got no ego tied up in my numbers. My numbers are my numbers. That's all they are. As long as you know your numbers and you have a target for your numbers, they can be whatever they are. I promise you that's cool. But most times people have no idea what number they should be shooting for. So growth mode, I don't mind it. My net profit, I don't care if I'm losing money, if I'm reinvesting right back in my company. So 20%, if you've got a plan, you're on point.
Question about that 10 or 20% to utilize for sales marketing efforts. Is that payroll for salespeople as well as marketing materials, outbound calling, whatever?
You bet. He's asking, is that 10% for payroll, for marketing material, marketing efforts, outbound calling? Absolutely. That's everything all in one. How I prefer that you guys do this is my preference. You do it however you want to do it. But my preference is that you spend about 2/3 of it on sales salaries, compensation, bonuses, commissions, and 1/3 of it on marketing. Now, I don't care, again, if you have a plan and you want to tell me that you're going to do it all towards marketing, that's awesome, but show me that you have a plan. Please tell me you're doing more than sending out some cheesy postcards every 6 weeks. Please tell me that you're getting some dollars from your vendors. Please tell me that you're putting on events that people actually attend. But don't tell me that you spend $1,000 a month on some crappy postcards that no one's ever going to read, and then one person called one time and now you think it's a success. Please don't tell me that. Okay? Who's doing some interesting marketing? Somebody give us a marketing idea that we can all go home with? Yes, sir?
Sign up a couple of local radio stations as customers with a trade arrangement that's very favorable because they'll give you ratios 3-to-1.
Beautiful. I'll repeat it for sure. What our man is doing is he's going to his radio station saying, I'm going to trade services for airtime. If you're going to do the radio, you got to get a great deal because you got to pollute the airwaves, like you said, with it. They got to be hearing your name a lot. But if you can trade services and do that, I love it. It doesn't cost you much, the cost of labor. Yes, sir.
We have a focus group at local community colleges and universities for areas that we bring in students on a paid focus group for a month on technology that we're rolling out for them. It's really actively a marketing campaign to get them to be salespeople at viral level.
Nice. All right. Going on the college campuses and getting focus groups and people paying attention in your local market. I love it. Yes, sir.
We give reduced rates to the local economic development corporation. All these new businesses they bring in, we need IT, they all refer us.
I love it. That little incubator in the Economic Development Center, he's reducing his rates to get people to come in earlier in the life cycle of their company. These are not expensive ideas. Who's the king in here of getting dollars from your vendors? Raise your hand if you got that figured out. Yes, sir. What are you doing?
Yeah, we've leveraged our relationships with IBM and SonicWall and a bunch of other things to put on radio advertising, lunch and learns.
Yeah.
To the tune of tens of thousands of dollars a year.
Absolutely. SonicWall especially, I know that one. They give tons of money. All you got to do is put any plan in front of you, and SonicWall is going to give you money. Okay, put a plan in front of them, they're going to give you money.
Trainings too.
Training.
For the engineers and other things.
I love it. Well, here we go. That third of your budget for sales going towards marketing, I want that to be coming from your vendors as much as anything. Hey, that's how we can keep that number so low. Here's a decision point when you go back and make this budget up for yourself. Do I base this on today's revenue? I'm a $1 million company, so I have a $100,000 budget. Or do I base it on where I want to be at the end of the year or the end of quarter? Okay? I think I can get to $1.2 million, so now I have a $120,000 budget. That's your only decision point there. Okay? Here's the thing with these numbers, and I'm telling you, this one's all on you. I can blame your PSA for your agreement gross profitability, but we have to have a chart of accounts in our accounting package that makes sense, that we can get these numbers. Okay? That means we have to separate our accounts in a logical order that has sales salaries, sales expenses broken out from that big old payroll category in the G&A section. All right? Got to make sure that you're doing your job on your accounting side. All right? AR aging report. Raise your hand if you've run that in the last month. That usually gets a few more people. Absolutely. They live and die by this thing. Raise your hand if you've ever figured out what percentage of your AR is over 60 days. Please raise your hand. Fewer hands, but a lot of hands, more than I expected. That's great. When I come into a new business, and I've gone into, I'd say thousands, that might be an exaggeration, but well over 700 companies, I've walked in your doors and sat down. This is where I start first, right here. Start here every single time. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to your text. I don't want to talk to your mom. I don't want to talk to how cool you are. Don't want to hear anything. I say, hey, let's open up your QuickBooks and open up this report. Why? If your customers are happy, they're going to pay you. If they're not happy, they're not going to pay you. Period. End of story. End of discussion. They're paying some bill on that month that they're not paying yours. But I get a lot of insight from this report as well. If it's sloppy, and pay attention to this, please, if you have a bookkeeper and you're not really sure how to measure them, I should never see a negative number in an AR aging report. I look there first because I say, are they sloppy with their bookkeeping? Do they know what to do when somebody overpays? Do they know what to do if they owe somebody a credit? Do they know what to do when somebody makes a deposit? I get a lot of little insights. There is never a reason to have a negative number in that report. Okay, so if you want a quick and dirty way to see, hey, I don't really know accounting all that well, but how's my bookkeeper doing? Go look for a negative number. Okay? Yes, sir. We're going to get there, man. You steal my thunder. Thanks a lot. You ruined it. DSO. Thanks a lot, pal. All right.
One thing that we do on our initial engagement
is
we tell our customers straight out, if they pay in a timely manner, they'll get serviced in a timely manner.
Okay.
And if they let it go out 60 days and something hits the fan, they're going to get that call back a little bit later than they would.
All right.
We're very honest with them.
I like it. Set up an adversarial relationship from the get-go. I love that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, sir.
So, 2 years ago, we mandated that all our clients, instead of us being the bank, we went to instant debit, so ACH, CCH.
Beautiful.
Went from plus 120 days down to less than 4.
You guys got to look at this guy back here, memorize his face, and talk to him because you need to be doing the same. ACH, credit card, direct, whatever you want to call it. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I got Carl Palachuk here. I hate doing this part of the presentation in front of Carl Palachuk because he says you should never have AR. There's no reason for it. They pay through automatic payment. They pay when they get the invoice at that exact moment through automatic withdrawals. He's living proof that it happens, okay? The reality is most of us don't have the nerve that Carl has. So you had a point.
Yeah, along the same lines, we have 100%, we basically put them into a subscription engine, so we had that completely front-loaded, and it forces any customer service issues, just like that, because the cards go through.
Yes.
Every time the billing comes through, and if there's any questions whatsoever, they can.
See, I love this. I love hearing these stories because I go into a lot of offices and I say, hey, have you ever thought about it doing ACH? Have you thought about asking your clients to pay, as you go immediately? And everybody says, oh, my clients won't go for that. My clients won't do that. They would never do that. Oh, my God, Joe would freak out. Bill would freak out. All right, cool. Don't do it. That's fine. Okay? But I love that guys are doing it. So these guys are proof that you can demand it as well. All right? Okay? Tells me, we've talked about this. All right? If they respect you, if they like your service, if they're happy with you, they're going to pay their bill. If it's over 90 days, I'm going to tell you what. I'd whisper if I could, but I can't. You don't give a shit about your own service. You got no respect for your own service that you're offering if you are letting stuff go out to 90 days. You don't care. It's our own secret. We ain't going to tell nobody. You know you got shitty service. That's why you're too chicken to call on the 90-day thing. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody please tell me I'm wrong. I didn't think so. Yes, Carl?
Just one comment. The most common way that people describe the people who owe them the most money is, they're my best client.
Isn't that crazy? That's absolutely right. All right? If you're letting people go over 90 days, you're too scared to call them, and I guess you're probably right to be too scared. Because you know you got shitty service, you know you got shitty process, you know you suck. Well, stop sucking and call them, all right, please? I'm begging you, all right, because you're ruining it for the rest of us. Okay, that's a real thing I'm telling you. Okay, you guys are your own worst enemies, not because you compete with each other, because you each decide to set the bar a little bit lower every single time so that none of us can charge what we should, demand what we should from our clients. You guys are in the only profession that has the word guy after it. Your doctor isn't the body guy, your attorney isn't the law guy, but you guys are the computer guy. Please change that. And computer girl. All right, computer girl and guy. Yeah, you guys are the only ones that have allowed that to happen in your profession. You can change that by holding yourself to high standards. Matt Makowitz, please.
We tell our clients when they're signing the agreement, the reason the price is as low as it is because we do automatic debit. So we don't have to send them invoices every time.
Yeah.
No question.
I love it.
It's a matter of which one they like to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if the price isn't low, you tell them it's so low because we're not going to go through the collection hassle with them. I like that. Here's a couple tips to get this down. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you my card, get my information. I love hearing from you. Tell me what your AR is today. Email me in a month. I don't care. You got nothing else to do. Email me and tell me what it is 30 days from now. Do these couple little things. What are your terms? 10 days, 15 days, net 30 with a 5% discount, whatever. Make them 15. Let's work our way to that ideal of Carl's world where it's net zero. But set your terms. If you're having problems with this, set them right. Okay? 15-day terms. Raise your hand if you are sending billing statements from your accounting package every month. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Scratch that one off the list, all right? You're already doing it. Raise your hand if you're making collection phone calls every month. Nice. That's excellent. Okay? That's very good. I'm telling you, I've done this presentation 15 billion times and I haven't seen that many hands. I'm glad you guys are doing that. Don't be afraid of it. Let's move on to the next one, DSO. Okay? Days Sales Outstanding. This is a calculation that tells you how long it's taking your clients to pay. You can bullshit me through your AR report sometimes if you want to be really crafty, but you cannot mess with me on this one. Okay? How long does it take your clients to pay? I want it less than 30 days, obviously. But more importantly, I really care about how closely it matches your payment terms. Oh, hey, Josh, I do government contract. They pay $45.90, whatever. Cool, then that's your terms. I just want to see how closely they match your terms.
Are you talking about service and product?
What does it matter?
Because product, always pay up front, never do a product.
Sweet, that'll help your DSO go down then.
Never.
Yeah, beautiful, man. And when you do this calculation here, you can factor out certain things if you want. Yep, for sure. Okay? So here's the calculation. Your total AR for a period of time divided by your total credit sales, which for most of us, credit sales means I'm going to send you an invoice later, multiplied by the days in the period measured. Do it for a month, do it for a quarter, do it for a half year, do it for a year, do it for 5 years. Okay? Google this so you can see what some of the little caveats are. There's some seasonality effects. There's some other things that you need to be aware of. Things like hardware, if we're doing a lot of hardware purchases or sales, they can impact that number. Nope. Yeah. Yeah. Not bad. Who's afraid to ask for upfront on hardware? Who thinks that it's going to make the perception of your company that you're too small and you can't afford to bankroll it?
I tell them, they'll typically suck it straight from me when I purchase it, so they couldn't go purchase it online.
Good.
I'm getting a kickback.
But you said government, it's impossible with government.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But your typical law firm, accounting firm, professional service firm that you're selling to, don't be afraid to ask for it all up front. Okay? Don't be afraid of it. That's right. Amen. You're walking out of there with it. All right? We know this. Cash flow is king. Insist that your clients adhere to your payment terms. What time is it? Somebody please tell me. 10:10? Okay. We're going to hurry up just a little bit. Employee turnover. Like I said, each and every one of you, the smartest business owner, the coolest guy, the nicest guy to all his employees, but everyone else who's not in this room is a bunch of assholes to work for. I swear to God, they're assholes. They come here, they laugh, they have a cup of coffee, we have a drink, they're really cool, and then they go home and they're assholes to the people. Okay? Figure it out. What's your employee turnover? How many employees are you losing? Why are you losing them? Whenever you fire someone, whenever someone quits, I'll take that person. You want to describe your worst tech ever, your worst salesperson ever? Send them to me, I'll take them. Give me your broken. Give me your shamed. I'll take them because they'll be good employees for me or one of my clients. Okay? You are the problem. The collective you, not you. All right. Well, you probably are, I can tell.
But are you saying you can fix broken employees?
No. I can fix broken owners. There's no such thing as a broken employee. You set crappy expectations. You let them get away with things. You don't train them. You expect them to hit the ground running. All right? Please take that out of your vernacular, especially if we're talking about salespeople. I need a salesperson who's going to come and hit the ground running. Go to hell. All right? Train them. That's your job. You suck at training people. Hey, all right, you started. Good for you. Here's a broken laptop. Go make it work. That's what we do when an employee starts. After we give them a broken laptop, see if they can fix it. Yeah, you're cool. All right? And then we say, go watch the ConnectWise videos for a week. Okay, and then, oh my God, our biggest client had a fire. We need to send them out. They hit the ground running. But then we're confused. You're confused right there in the blue shirt, white hair. Why won't they enter their time? I'm battling them every day on why they won't enter their time. Can't figure it out. It's a tough racket. All right? Knock it off. Train them. Figure out this number. Be embarrassed by that number. When you fire somebody, say, thank God I got rid of that guy. Nope, the problem is still there. Train your employees. Treat them with respect. When the rest of you decide to get salespeople on, treat them like kings, because I know you hate them anyway, but treat them well. Yes, sir. I've read that book, Things Shitty Bosses Say. Give me another one. All right. I don't care. No, you're going to lose people. You're absolutely right. You're going to lose people. You will make mistakes. Okay? You will make a mistake in your hiring. Absolutely. If you have a good hiring process, no one's going to sneak by you. All right? Are we doing disc profiles? Are we checking references? Or are we doing like some guy in Washington, D.C. who says, holy crap, I need a tech. Let me put an ad on Craigslist. Holy crap, I got 10 resumes. Let me call the first guy in. And oh my God, I have a project that starts tomorrow. Let me start him tomorrow. Not a single one of you would ever do that. But I'm telling you, it happens sometimes. Okay, I sat there and witnessed it myself.
Question. Do you have a set of metrics in your examples here for your clients that are best of breed?
Who's asking that? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Do I have? Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, you bet. I got a bunch of material. You email me, I'm going to get you everything you need. Okay. The employee turnover one? No, I don't have one. I just know when it's too high or when it's right or when it's whatever. That one's completely subjective. Most importantly, this is kind of new for me to talk about this one, so you guys are hearing the new stuff here. Okay. I'll figure out what the right number is. I don't know what it is right now. Okay. But I know I got guys who've had employees for, like Ron DeAngelis at Jumpstart in San Francisco. His average time of employment is 7 years. He's been in business 8. Okay? But I've also got guys who have no one over 2 years and they've been in business for 10 years. I don't know what the right number is, but I'll tell you that's not it. Yes, sir. Yeah, isn't that something? Thank you for admitting that. That's hard to admit, but you're right, man. You know when you screw up. You know when that person starts that they're probably not going to last, but you do it anyway because you're lazy in your interviewing process. Okay, I'll give you a little tip, then we'll go on to the next slide. From now until the last day that you're in business, pencils should be hitting the paper right now. From now until the last day that you're in business, I want you to interview 2 people every single week. Okay, I don't care if they're salespeople, service people. You should be interviewing 2 people every single week. I don't know anything about sports, so I'll try not to botch a sports analogy, but I can only imagine that they're looking right now for the replacements for next year's baseball teams. Okay, they've got recruiters all over the country looking for next year. They don't get to next year and say, "Fuck, I wonder if Jeter's going to be with us next year. Let's start looking for somebody." Nope. They're building a bench. They're building a pipeline. They're coming in. They don't wait until their top guy leaves and then say, better start looking. Okay? Every week you need to be interviewing 2 people for that unknown, that unexpected thing that might happen of somebody leaving or dying. People die. Yeah? Sure. Growth. We could dying or growth, either example. All right. Here's the big one right here. Somebody tell me what EBITDA stands for. Absolutely, good job. All right? Tell me if you know this number. Raise your hand if you know this number. Raise them high, raise them proud. Tell me if you, raise your hand if you don't know that number. I'm looking at the same people who aren't raising their hands either way. Okay? You need to know this number. This is the scorecard right here. If you have kids, you don't say, don't worry about the report card, Johnny. This is the report card right here. 10% is the minimum number. Don't come at me later and say, well, I'm making 15. Why do you only want to get 10? 10 is the minimum number. And we need to know this on a monthly, quarterly, annual, and lifetime of our company. This is how many dollars are left over from the operations of your company. It's earnings before we pay or receive interest. It's earnings before we receive or pay taxes, or we depreciate an asset, or we amortize something over the lifetime of its use. Because those things are not our core business. Those are not the operations of our business. So the EBITDA is the profit from the operations of your business. Yes, sir.
If we're doing this before amortization,
Yep.
and there's a shift from CapEx to OpEx, it jacks the number, doesn't it?
It sure does. Too big of a topic, but you're absolutely right. If you're doing a lot of hardware as a service, if you're owning more assets than you ever had before, we need to make sure that we're accounting for it on the balance sheet versus on the P&L. But that's a great topic, and I'd love to chit-chat with you about it later, okay? Yeah. Okay? Regardless, we still need it to be 10%, okay, at least. Somebody tell me, let's brag. Who's over 10%? Sweet. Who's over 20%? Nice, 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 nice. Anyone over 30? Beautiful, we got one. My highest EBITDA guy is a guy in Southern California. He's been my highest for years, is right around 28% year after year. Guess how much recurring revenue he has? 0. Okay, so don't give me this bullshit about break fix is dead. Okay, I'd give you my whole rant, but I don't have time on why break fix is a phenomenal model for all of you. Okay, but I'll save it for a beer later. All right? And anyone who wants to debate it with me, I love it. We'll do it anywhere, anytime. Okay? So 10% is our minimum. What questions do you have? I've got a couple more slides for you, but this is the meat of it right here. Anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
In your experience, and not to get too far down the break-fix model you talked about,
Yeah.
how are your clients who have fully adopted MSP and are mature
Yeah.
doing in general when it comes to EBITDA between those who have just stayed with break-fix model?
You know, unfortunately, I have such a small population base of people who have stuck purely break-fix, but they'll go toe-to-toe with my best MSP guys any day of the week. But it's not to say I don't like MSP. I love it. Just make sure you're watching the right numbers to make sure that you're actually beating your old break-fix model. Because all I need is your accounting package to go back to about 2005, 2004, and I can pretty easily make you cry by saying, this is what you were getting when you were break-fix. This is what you're getting now that you're MSP. Doesn't mean let's go back to break-fix. It means let's fix your MSP so you're actually making some money. Okay? All right, here's my rules. All right? And here's one thing I want to tell you. I don't make up anything. I don't know nothing about nothing. I've been spending 10 years going into your businesses, learning what you do that sucks, learning what looks really awesome, looking for trends between lots of companies, say, wow, these 10 people do this thing. I should tell these other people to do it too. Okay, so these are my rules based on where I've seen the biggest problems come up for people and where the best practices emerge. Okay? We evaluate our financials in accrual mode. We file our taxes in cash mode for most of us, okay? When you're looking at your financials to see the operations of the business, we look at it in accrual mode, okay? No wives, husbands, dads, moms, sisters, cousins, brothers, uncles, aunts, godparents, second cousins twice removed doing the books. No, nope, 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 nope. Okay, it doesn't work. Because I love your wife, I love your husband, I love them all. They're so cool. They're the best people in the world. Go let them do books for someone else if they're so awesome. Okay? They can't do your books. Because they're going to screw up. You're not going to be able to hold them accountable. Are you going to tell me about how your wife's the best bookkeeper in the world? No. Well played, well played. All right. All right. I'll put a big asterisk, unless you own a bookkeeping service. All right. I love that. Dang it, I'm so embarrassed. All right. So this one is a big sticky one. I have never, ever, not once, out of hundreds and hundreds of times, seen one of those relatives not screw up the business. Whether they're doing a good job or not, they're going to screw up on payroll. Your employees are going to be having a hard time demanding. My check was late, but that's the boss's wife. Okay? Whatever the scenario is, if you've got one of these people doing your books, your employees hate it, okay? And you should hate it too. And we can talk more about it later if you want. Okay? Weekly financial meeting with your bookkeeper. It's amazing to me when I see people not talk to their bookkeepers. If you could just have a weekly meeting and go over these things, sign the checks, confirm deposits, collection calls to be made, bank balances. Just do that once a week. Okay? This is my model that works really well. When I come into a company that has a broken system, this is what I recommend right here. Invoicing occurs 3 times a month. Twice for T&M, once for recurring. Okay? I want my T&M on around the 7th. I want my recurring on the 14th for the next month. And I want T&M again on the 21st. Okay? Don't tell me about we just run invoices whenever we need to. Put it on his schedule. Yes, sir?
Well, I'm running it faster. I'm running this stuff weekly or bi-weekly.
Does it work for you?
It's working.
Awesome. It's all that matters to me. If it's working for you, if you're not having AR issues, if you're not having things sit in your PSA waiting to be billed for longer than you think they should, I'm fine with it. If you have a broken system, if you're not happy with your system, use a 3 times a month thing. Okay? We send out billing statements once a month. You guys are already doing that. I love that. Monthly P&L and balance sheet meeting. I've now given you some benchmarks to track towards. something to actually frame out your discussion and your review of your P&L and your balance sheet. Now go have the meeting once a month. And I put a little clue up here for you so you'd save your arm strength. I always look at my P&L. That doesn't mean shit, all right? Doesn't mean anything. I look at it all the time, big deal, okay? Have a meeting that's structured and know what you're looking for, know what you're comparing against, okay? This one just kills me, all right? It seems so trivial. Why did I put it up here? Okay, because I look at the excuses that people give, bookkeepers give on why they don't have time to do the things they should be doing. And the one I hear all the time is entering the transactions. The owner uses his credit card for everything. I spend so much time chasing receipts and doing this and doing that. Download your transactions, please. You guys are an IT company. Download it. QuickBooks has it. Just download it. It's right there. I've heard so many arguments. It's usually because they're scared to do it, okay? But please just do these basic things. If you've already got this dialed in, God bless you. It doesn't mean that everything's great, but at least you're not making the big mistakes I see a lot of people make. Okay? What questions do you have? Anybody?
What's your email address?
Who asked? Nope. Any other questions? Oh, it'll be on the final thing, man. Yes?
When you're doing this meeting with the P&L,
Yeah.
who are the players internally and externally that are essential to that?
For that monthly P&L, I'm going to keep it to, and this is a big one right here. I want my service manager if I have one. I want my sales manager if I have one. I want myself, I'm the owner, and my bookkeeper. That's it. Now, I got a guy in South Florida who is doing really, really well, and he does open book management, and it's really, really cool. That's a company-wide thing. It's kind of crazy, but I'll tell you about it if you like. For this monthly one, I don't bring in like the accountant or anything like that.
When do you engage the accountant? Twice a year?
I fucking hate CPAs. I think they're the most worthless people that ever walked the land, except for the ones that are in here. Okay, so I'm not bringing them in until I need my tax input only. I want no input from my accountant on how to run my business.
Okay, thank you.
Did you have a question?
Yeah. From a sales standpoint, so seeing this, that they need to get payment and they're calling. So what if you have a boss who, I can get the payment right away, but he doesn't want to do the 2.5% credit card fee?
Oh my God.
God forbid they want to do the American Express.
Absolutely. God, this is a great question. Once you get your salespeople really clicking, you get a great salesperson who can get payment right then and there. What are you going to do? Discourage them? No. We'll wait. We'll send them an invoice so we don't have to pay the credit card charges. Credit card charges are a cost of doing business, boys and girls. Live with it. Stop crying about it. It is what it is. If your salesperson can collect that money right then and there, get it right then and there.
Price is 2.5%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Use ACH, absolutely. So she's asking, what if you have a boss? You guys are all bosses. You're the ones that when you get a salesperson are going to discourage salespeople like that from actually doing what's right for your business because you're going to complain about the credit card fee. You will find any reason to be upset with your salesperson. And I'm not making this up. I see it every day, okay?
Tell your boss he's broken.
Until he's broken, that's right. That's right. Somebody's got some issues with their boss. I love it. You might be a sales candidate for you guys to talk to. That's right. Exactly. Yes, sir.
I would just add to that once we started accepting credit cards,
Yeah.
because our model up to that was always just monthly invoicing, this goes back about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Once we started accepting credit cards and just kind of absorbing that cost,
Yeah.
the amount of payments doubled in the time.
Is that right?
Because they want the money.
Yeah, they want the miles. They want the miles.
Okay, use your credit card if they get money. If they get something out of it, they'll pay that.
I love that. Absolutely. That might be the final word on accounting things. Here, give me yours. What did you have?
You see any exposures using lockbox services for receivables or ACH disbursement systems?
I'm not familiar with that. What does that mean? Do you want to tell us? Is it important?
Rather than writing a check, your bank will set up a system where your bookkeeper can enter an electronic check and you approve it separately.
Go for it. If you have the good control in place to make sure that that person's abilities are limited, you know, of the things they can do, for sure, go for it. All right. What time is it? Somebody tell me, please. All right, we got 3 minutes. We did Josh's rules. This is the bonus slide, all right? Raise your hand if you know what NPS is. Okay? Net Promoter Score. Write it down, please. Net Promoter Score. Use me, don't use me, Google it, I don't care, but you got to do this, all right? It's the leading survey method for measuring client loyalty. Tell me if you're sending out a client What is it? Customer satisfaction survey. Anyone doing that? All right, cool. Not very many of you, though. Yeah, is anyone getting it back? There's the question. What are you doing with those results? Are you aggregating that information and making meaningful changes to your business based on it? Well, NPS is my favorite thing out there. Okay, it's all about customer loyalty. Who cares about customer satisfaction? I do not care. Did Joe show up with his shoes shine? Did he show up on time? Did he fix your problem in the first try? Who cares? You're putting your values onto what you think the customer cares about. The only thing that matters is, will you refer me to your friends and colleagues? If you're happy, if you're satisfied, you will refer me. If you are not happy, if you're not satisfied, you won't refer me. Okay? Take this survey, do this survey. Send it out after a service ticket, call them, I don't care, do something. Yes, sir?
Who calls?
Funny you should ask. I call. Josh Peterson's company calls, okay? But all you have to do, use somebody outside of the organization who's not in the delivery chain of the service or in the billing chain. You don't want your numbers to be skewed positively or negatively. Have an outside do it. You can do it. They just call up. I have one question to ask you. On a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us to your friends and colleagues? Okay? Now, on the next slide, I'm going to show you what the different numbers mean that they're going to give back, and I'm going to show you how to do the math. Yes, sir?
And then email versus phone is doing this email.
I like a phone call because the phone call gets me a statistically significant response rate. Okay? If I send an email and I get 15% back, is that statistically significant enough to make a change in my business? Maybe, maybe so. Okay, when I call, I'm going to get 80% response rate. Now I know. Now I know what my clients really think about me. Okay? The clients fall into one of three categories. The promoters. If they come across somebody talking about IT services, they're going to stop what they're doing and they're going to say, whatever you do, you got to use Joe's company. The passive is going to hear that same conversation and say nothing. What's the detractor going to do? Stop what they're doing and come over and say, whatever you do, don't use Joe's company. They're the worst ever. Okay? When I present these results, I've seen people be very shocked at who gives them what scores. Okay, and I think we're getting real close to time. This is how the calculation is. Okay? Your 9s and 10s, people give you 9 or 10, they're a promoter. Take the percentage of the promoters and subtract out the percentage of the detractors, and there's your score. Okay? Anyone who's a 6 and below is a potential detractor. This is based on SAP metrics study over years and years and years. They developed this system of Net Promoter Score, and they've determined through their research what people mean when they give those scores. Okay? And this is what they've found. Industries around the world, Fortune 500 companies, everybody in the big boy world uses this. Yes, sir? What the average is? The range is, I get some negatives, because you can have a negative number, okay? And I get probably the highest score I've gotten anywhere so far is somebody who happens to be in the room who's had the highest score that's in the 80s. Okay, but the average right now, if I'm going to make it up on the spot, is probably in the 40s. Okay? Harley-Davidson has in the 60s. United Airlines has a negative. Southwest Airlines has a slightly positive. JetBlue has a slightly positive. Okay? I'm doing this for lots and lots of managed service providers because I want to know what our industry average is. I'm going to make it up and say it's in the 40s. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Yeah. So what you're doing is when you make that call, you're going to say, give me your score, please. Do you have any other feedback to give us? And then you take note of it, and then you can say, now what do I do with this? Okay. Do I respond? If somebody gives me a 9 or 10, what should I do immediately? Go ask, thank them. Thank them. Ask for referral. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
When you're obtaining this metric, what do you look for in a vendor company that's going to provide that service?
We'll talk offline. He's about 6 foot, dashingly handsome. All right. Slim and slender. All right. All right. You guys have been awesome. Thank you very much. I'm going to hang out if you guys want to chit chat. Thank you very much. All right.